Hello and welcome to the new episode of Studio Off News with me, Koyan Konstantinov. Today with us is one of the leading actors of the movie The Voice of Hind Rajab, which is the Tunisian nomination for Oscars this year. And with us is Mr. Amer Hlehel. I hope I pronounce everything all right, Mr. Hlehel.
Very good.
Yes, thank you for being with us today. First of all, I know that this is more maybe a very basic question, but how did you feel listening to the voice recordings of all those people who died during the Israeli attack? And it was a blunt murder, actually, what the Israelis did, and also listening to the voice of this girl, because as far as I know, real voice recordings were used by the Red Crescent in the movie that you are cast in.
Listen, I think first of all, thank you for having me in your podcast. I'm honored to be here. Um, Actually, I think that what's really was amazingly awful for everyone in this war, that it was, I think this is the first filmed and documented war, the first live streaming war. And we all were witnessing the mass killing and the destruction and displacement and everything during the war on Gaza daily. And but something, because listen, I'm a father. I have two daughters, and one of them now, she is Salma. She is 6 years old. So at that time, even before the film, when we heard and when I heard the voice of Hind Rajab asking for help and for save uh, from the Red Crescent volunteers on social media, I just everything, like, your emotions just immediately collapse on you, because it's just it's not about one feeling, it's not about just one intuition or some or mental thinking. It just everything is collapsing, was collapsing. And going back to this experience in the film, and Kaouther Ben Hania, the brilliant director, and she was so uh, she was so sensitive for the material, the real material. So she didn't share it with anyone before the shooting. And we didn't listen to the real material. We knew the material that everyone knew before from the news, from the social media. But the material, the rest of the material, which is we used in the film, we didn't listen to it, and we didn't she didn't share it with us until the first moment of the shooting, and until the first action. Even in the rehearsals, we didn't listen to, and we didn't know how it will attack us. And we didn't prepare for it. And so somebody who was reading it through the script, the whole documentary material. So that first moment, I remember very well when Mu'taz Malhis, my colleague, uh, and I myself, I had, when he calls me through the intercom, telling me this is the first time that we hear the real documentary material. So he's calling me saying there's something in the north of Gaza, in Tell El Hawa. And then I go online and listening also with him. And we listen to the shooting of Layan, the cousin of Hind Rajab, which was the first material to be recorded, and the first time somebody's. I think I remember that moment as as the collapsing of my even skills as an actor. I'm doing this job for almost 25 years now in theater and cinema. And that was the first time that I felt that I don't know, I'm not acting. I'm just, I'm not using my skills. I don't know what is happening. It's just something that, you go like it's just the real life and the action and the fiction life. It just, they were mixed in a moment, and it just all the preparation for what you want from this character and from this film, and all the preparation as an actor, and like all the things that you thought that you want to do in this film collapsed, because when you face such a reality, you can't fake it. You have, you just, you go into it. We just drawn into the situation. It just, it sucked us immediately, and never let us back to, to be aware of during the whole period of the shooting.
Maybe it was the way I see it. Maybe it was a conscious decision by the director to not play the recording at first, so that the real emotions, the real humans can be shown on camera.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's not. I think it's not just one. I think it's both. It's just she was very sensitive about the material, because it's a very sensitive material, and she didn't want just use it as a background preparation for a film, because it's a very sacred moment inside the material. And also, I think, yeah, on the other hand, also I think she was aware of what the material will do for the actors, if they just, if you come to the situation pure and clean, without preparation, without knowing what will happen when you listen to the voice for the first time, which is what happened to the real characters and the real person at that time, where when they were dealing with the situation really at that time.
Have you met or spoken with the real people that you're portraying?
Of course, before we started shooting, uh, we didn't meet yet. Unfortunately, me and the real person that I'm playing, Mahdi. But we talked a lot on. We had a lot of conversations about everything, about the war, about that day, about other days, other experiences. And there were all of them. I think each of us choked mainly with the real person of his character or her character, and they were so helpful, so generous, so open, because to be honest, if I know that someone is going to play my personality, I will be so anxious about it, and how will I look on the screen, and which kind of the which parts of the story they will tell, how they will show my character. And as even if you try to do your best to copy paste the person, you won't be that person. You will be a version of couple of angles of the person, and you will be a new character. So, but they were so generous and so open to talk and serve the story, because they believe that that the intentions of doing this film, it's not uh, um, uh, it's not about them as persons. It's about them being in that situation, and also because they read the script, and before they met us, so they knew how the film will deal with the story, kind of how it will how it, the story will be told. And then and because I think because also all the actors were Palestinians, so talking about the issues, about the things, I think something for them was relaxed, because they didn't have to explain to us the situation and how it feels, and what is being a Palestinian, and what is being a Palestinian working for the Red Crescent, and what being a Palestinian witnessing the genocide in Gaza, and what does that mean, and so the background of being a Palestinian in Red Crescent, just the professional side of being in that place, it just needed an explanation, and about the experience of being at that time for 4 hours trying to help this small kid.
I guess that the people you're portraying have seen the movie. Uh, what are their comments on it?
You know, we are so overwhelmed by the recognition and the love, and the people, that the messages that we get, it just mainly is talking about that the people couldn't talk about the film just after a couple of days, and the experience that they have passed, and how the film influenced them, and how they felt so, they felt so that they couldn't breathe during this, about the stuckness of themselves, of the humanity, witnessing what is happening and can't also help. So I think that's what also very, very important and smart from Kaouther Ben Hania, the director, that she could uh, um, pass the feeling of the stuckness of the four people, the team of the Red Crescent, and how that will uh, be a kind of uh, 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 a point of view of the stuckness of the whole humanity of what is happening in Gaza. So mainly the reactions of the audience is about, it's about this, and the feeling is just I'm so on, like I'm talking about this with mixed feeling all the time, because you always, as an artist, as an actor, as a filmmaker, as theater maker, like when you do your stuff, you always looking for that kind of recognition, that kind of welcoming, that kind of interest in your material that you are doing. But in this film, there is a very a deep mixed feeling, because and you I would prefer not to do that film. I would prefer that the circumstances and the situation were different, and this is not the film that I had to do and make and be part of. And on the other hand, it's just a very important story for me as a Palestinian to tell the world, and I want the world to see that story, and to be aware of what is happening in Gaza and in Palestine. So it's so mixed feeling.
Yeah, I totally understand. The movie won a number of awards, several of which came from the Venice Film Festival. As we mentioned, it is a Tunisian nomination for an Oscar. Best of luck with that. Um, and we see a wide audience, acceptance of the movie. We'll see it in Sofia, of course, one of the reasons for making this interview. Uh, Also, we see during the past few years that there are widespread protests around the world in support of Gaza and against what the Israeli government is doing. So, on one hand, we can say more or less that the population, the world population, is supporting Gaza and is against the crimes that Israeli government is committing. But on the other hand, we see that the governments of the world, most of them, besides maybe Turkey, which in the past few days announced, they issued an international court sentence for Netanyahu, but Europe, the United States, even the Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, I don't need to name all of them. Somehow their reaction is missing. Yes, they condemn what Israel is doing, but we don't see international economic sanctions, like widespread ones, just a few small ones. We don't see even military intervention, even international troops to be positioned. Only again, Turkey mentioned that they would like to position 3,000 military peacekeeping forces in Gaza. So why do you think, if we can enter a bit of this sphere, if you're feeling comfortable, of course, feeling that there is this, difference in governments and populations?
Listen, as Palestinian people know that the reaction of the governments and authorities around the world towards the Palestinian issue and the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, this is not new for us. That we are used to it. This is the situation. This is what we sadly we expect. This that this is the normality. This is for us. This is the the regular reaction. This is some places and some countries, they will condemn and they will say something about it, but they do nothing. They still sell weapons and military material to Israel, and then say that that not nice and this is too much, and this is we are we have concerns about what Israel is doing. So this is normality for us. This is how we look at it. Just sadly, we just this is for over more than 77 years since Al Nakba, the Palestinian catastrophe in 1948. We just this is the situation that we are dealing with. But I want to focus more on the people's and the public reaction this time, that um, which is what warm our hearts. Just the changes coming from the people, that they are now aware of the situation more and more, and they are trying to do something, and they do actions, and they go and demonstrate in the streets, and they do events, or they do petitions, and they do an aid, and and everything, and they try to influence the governments, and they go into the streets, which is something that this is the new for Palestinian people to see, really, like in the mainstream of the world population. Now people can, they feel that they have to raise their voice and to change the point of view of how you look at at this case, which is for us is something that we were. I'm not happy is not the word to use, but kind of we feel like this is what surprised us. What's feel like this is something that we are very happy to see and to experience, and we see that maybe this is what we hope for, that this change from the ground, from the people, from the normal citizens of the world, that they are moving, and the change will change their governments one day in the next elections. And look at what happened in New York the last couple of weeks with electing the mayor of New York, which is who was thinking of one day that this kind of personality, political personality, with socialism, with his background being, Indian African Muslim background mayor, and his socialism point of view and his political point of view. Like, who could imagine that somebody will be a mayor of the biggest and most important city in the world and in the USA, which is, I think, this is what we are trying to see, the light point at the end of the tunnel. So I think that change. I'm not saying that it will change the world in immediately. I think, but I think it's just it steps towards the change, and I think because governments, we will just, just the governments that we have everywhere, the Arab world, Europe, everywhere, USA, the Americas, India, just, this is what we know. So I think we didn't build on them anyway. So, but the move of the people, I think, around the world, this is what we build on.
If you don't mind me asking, because it is rare that, especially in Bulgaria, we hear the Palestinian voice and the Palestinian opinion. Because, as you know, the influence of the Israeli government, first of all, Israel has a very functioning government, while we have a Palestinian embassy, by the way, in Bulgaria, in Sofia, but somehow we don't hear a lot of Palestinian voices. So, this is $1 million question. How can the situation, I don't know how to call it, a crisis, catastrophe, whatever, what happened, the Nakba, how can it be solved? Is it a two-state solution? Is it what borders should be taken, the 1967 borders? Because as we know, over 90% of Palestinian land has been seized by the Israelis. Even we have over 800 illegal Israeli settlements on Palestinian territory in the West Bank, in other places.
Wow, this is not a $1 million question. This is a $1 billion question. My opinion won't be, satisfying for most of the Palestinians and the Israelis as well. But from because it's a very, any solution will be, won't be a complete satisfying solution for anyone. And just, this country but just passed a lot of catastrophes, and the Palestinian people suffered for more than 80 years from different kind of occupation and oppression and everything. It just so you will never get to a kind of solution that will satisfy everyone, because it's so. But it's our responsibility to think of a solution and to have a hope for a solution, because if not, then we will be stuck in a trap of of an endless bloody situation. So my opinion is just one democratic state, an open space for everyone who was willing to live in this place equally, without any superior advantages to any side, and without claiming that God promises this land for us, or without claiming that this was for me and then I want it back. Just everyone should have the ability to live the space and the place like everywhere else in the world, that countries are respecting people to live in the country because they have the right and the freedom to choose where to live, but with I think, a very fair question and request, which is a recognition of the Palestinian catastrophe and the Palestinian story and right, that because they were displaced from their places, and give them the right to return, any Palestinian to return to the homeland that he or she was displaced 77 years ago. And then I think this is the only solution. But then, anyone can be everywhere and build the home and live everywhere in the country, with total and full equality. I know this is something that, very, I don't know, it's a so dreamy situation, but I think any other situation won't last. The
So,
two-state solution, what about us Palestinians who live in Israel? Like, what will happen if this will be a Jewish state, like that? Like, the solution is it will be like the whole world will accept it as a Jewish state. What about me? Like the 22%. What about the Israelis who live now in the West Bank? And what about Gaza? What about, how it will look, the two, like, where are the borders? Because 76, the 67 border line, the green line, just, how you will connect between Gaza and between the West Bank. And I think it won't last, because you can't draw a map inside. Just so difficult to draw a map, and without displacement again from both sides, without making people lose their homes again, without not eating, without eating lands of people again and again. And I think it just, you just need to open the space for everyone, with the recognition of what happened to the Palestinian people in 48, and then give them the right to go back to their homes, and then just open a free, democratic state.
how popular is this opinion among Palestinians? And
I can understand, of course. You can't ask anyone in Gaza now today to believe in this solution, because this is not, just what now you asking me to be democratic and to be open and to be, I can't, I can't, argue people who are being, now in the worst situation in the world. But I have to say this because I have the privilege to say that, because we always need to be, kind of put hope, plant hope for a solution, for a real solution, for an open solution, something that welcoming, a solution that will bring not division but hope and love, which is, if I'm still have the privilege to say that. I'm not asking, people to believe in it now, but I still believe that my role, because I still have the privilege to say that, so I have to say that. With a complete awareness of the problematic vision for most of the people in my country.
Out of curiosity, Have you considered what name that country have? Like, is Israel, Palestine, Palestinian Israel? Like, even the name is a big problem, you know?
If we reach the point of the name, then we are. I think we had. Let's. I think that will be the last thing to deal with, because if we reach that point, then we are in a much better situation than today. If we reach that point, what we name it, then I think that will mean that we solved most of the real big issues about how we live inequality in this country.
And speaking of the international implications also, what are the opinions of Palestinians in living in Israel in regards to the wars with Hezbollah and with Iran? We know that Haifa was heavily struck by Iranian missile attacks. I think the port in Haifa was heavily hit in other places. So, do you support this? Did you support the war? Do you think that Iran and Hezbollah are on the Palestinian side, or are they working only for their own benefits?
I don't know. I won't speak about on the name of the population of nearly 2 million people. I would speak with. I can't support any war. I don't support war. Any war. I'm against killing. I think destruction and bombing and put terror on people anywhere. For me, I can't stand for that. I can understand sometimes why it is happening, and I can try to understand the circumstances that led to the war, but I can't support anymore. I just from any side. But for me, and for me and for many people, Palestinians who are living here, I think. It's a very hard, complicated situation, a very complicated situation, because on one hand you understand that that the Israeli government and the Israeli regime, they are not accepting any solution with any side in the region. They want things happen in their way of thinking and how they see the situation. They don't do any dialogue between them and the region. And we know what happened historically on this land and also in Lebanon, and what led to the conflict. And this is not something that happened 2 years ago. It's something that happened many, many years ago, and it started in 48, even before. But on the other hand, we are people. We are living in a space, and we are living in a place. We are not happy to see missiles just coming down from the sky towards you. This is, so it's a very complicated. You don't want to see this happen, but on the other hand, that your opinion is on one side, but your body is just telling you another story. It just so it's a very. I think it's just it's a situation that it needs to be studied really, because that being a Palestinian inside Israel is something very, very, very complicated to experience. Just because you are part of the Palestinian people, you are part of the story, you are the result of the story, you have the same willing, the same hopes, you share the same suffering, the same of everything. But on the other hand, you are living in a space that if it is bombed, it's being bombed, it's also on you. So so it's a very confusing situation, and I think most of the people, they are not, they're not even, they they can't really contain it very well. So they don't know what is right to think or to feel. Like your feelings is more important than your thinking. Or the so you will see in the Palestinian society a huge range of uh, way of thinking on how people deal with it.
It's really a complicated situation. Going back to the art discussion, can you recommend our audience some movies, or if not even movies, it could be literature, it could be any type of art that you'd recommend so that they can familiarize themselves better with the Palestinian culture, art, philosophy, maybe. Of course, the situation between Israel and Palestine too. But I want to get out a bit of the conflict because Palestinians are much more than this conflict.
Yeah, but the problem is that because we are living this for many years, so it's like everything I will recommend, it somehow will be connected to the Palestinian situation. But I recommend to see the films of Ilya Suleiman, films of Maha Al-Haj, if we speak about cinema, films of Maha Al-Haj, films of Hania Abu Asad, many films that just also, like we have also Palestine 36, the new film of Amer Hlehel. I think also it's a worthy one because it will explain something about the history and about something that before 48, which is also to have sense of the place and know about the place, not just in the after 48 after Nakba experience. Also, I would recommend to read Mahmoud Darwish's poetry. Um, because he talked about everything, and from the Palestinian point of view towards the world and towards experiencing life, which is also, sometimes it's just, his love for poetry. It's just, I think it's one of the most beautiful things that I have ever read. I would recommend to see also Palestinian, like if you follow some of the chefs, the Palestinian food, which I recommend Fadi Al-Qattan. He's a beautiful chef that will put you in context also with the food and the place and the history and the culture, and that it's very, a very deep, aware and rich experience the food and the culture. And also, I would love you to listen to many musicians, Palestinian musicians like Faraj Suleiman, like Naib Barghouti, like also Saint Levant, which is it's a different type of music. There is a range. I forget a lot of people. If you get the chance to see Palestinian theater also somewhere, I also recommend, highly recommended, and this is a lot to see and to experience Palestine from different kind of uh, uh, ways of experiencing it, like music, theater, literature, cinema. It's a very rich, productive art scene in Palestine.
Great recommendations. And last question, a bit broader. What message would you like to send to to our audience? Link to Palestine, link to the world. It's your choice. Even link to Palestinian cuisine. It could be.
Yeah. No, my message is just, the Palestinian people, they are trying to live equally in this world. We don't need to prove that we are human beings, because we are. But I think what I, expect now from the world, just try and think of us as citizens of the world, like yourself. So we have culture, we have our advantages. We have our also we're citizens. We are just, we experience the world exactly like you, and we also react towards the world exactly like you. We have something to, teach you, as we have something to learn from you. And I think this dialogue should start to happen between Palestinians and the rest of the world. It's not just, we are not just, victims of the war. We are not just part of a conflict. We have a lot to offer the world, and we observe also a lot from the world, and we are part of this world. We are the citizen of this world. And so next time, just look at us as part of the world. And we not and again, it's not about uh, mm, uh, you know we don't want you to pity us and to try and mm, just being, just treating us like human beings, because we are human beings. But but look at us equally as you look at other kind of nationalities and people.
Great. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you so much.
Amer Hlehel, leading actor in the Voice of Hind Rajab movie, the Tunisian nomination for Oscar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.